Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of Fca Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Daily news and updates for 4th October 2025. Eyewear retailer Lenskart has received Sebi approval for its IPO, targeting a mid-November listing. The company aims to raise Rs 2,150 crore in fresh capital, with the total IPO size expected to be Rs 7,500 to 8,000 crore. Lenskart turned profitable in fiscal 2025, posting a net profit of Rs 297 crore and will use proceeds for store expansion and acquisitions. India achieved its highest Navratri sales in over a decade, propelled by government GST reforms that lowered prices and boosted consumer aspirations. This led to record consumption, with major auto and electronics companies like Maruti Suzuki, M&M, Hyundai, LG, and Hair reported the best ever festive season performance. The Reserve Bank proposed new rules for foreign entities establishing offices in India. These draft regulations aim to simplify the process. They will offer more operational freedom for businesses. Eligibility criteria for setting up a presence in India will be relaxed. Government approval remains necessary for certain countries and sectors. Feedback is sought on these changes until October 2025. The Reserve Bank of India has expanded the related party transaction guidelines to include promoters, key management persons, shareholders with equity of over 5%, and entities with influence and their relatives, according to a draft circular released on Friday. The move is aimed at tightening governance and reducing conflicts of interest in lending practices by commercial banks. The revised norms, effective from April 1, 2026, consolidate and replace over a dozen legacy circulars, creating a unified regulatory framework. RBI also introduced scale-based thresholds beyond which banks and non-banking financial companies will need board approval for lending to related parties. The Reserve Bank of India has notified the Reserve Bank of India Interest Rate on Advances Amendment Directions 2025, bringing important changes to the regulatory framework on how banks determine and adjust spreads on lending rates. Under the revised guidelines, banks are now allowed to reduce other spread components earlier than the 3-year period, provided such decisions are taken on justifiable and non-discriminatory grounds. This move ensures that reductions in lending spreads can be passed on to borrowers more quickly, thereby promoting fairness in lending and enabling banks to adapt to evolving market conditions. ANSR has signed a landmark Memorandum of Understanding with the Government of Maharashtra to develop a world-class GCC city in Navi Mumbai. The upcoming GCC city in Navi Mumbai is envisioned as India's premier destination for global enterprises to establish, scale and innovate through their GCCs. It will provide cutting-edge infrastructure, create a robust ecosystem for innovation and attract significant global investments into Maharashtra.
This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.